All right, YouTube, I'm Dave. This is Dave Splains, and today we're going to talk about the positive thinking and the tools that you can use to build positive thinking. Now, um, I didn't always do good in school when I first started going to college. I didn't have the greatest self esteem, and things just always messed with me. And I would always think that I was starting at zero, right down here, you know. And that's the wrong way to think about it because in my mind, I was already failing and I had to prove myself. The reality is this: you're already at an A. You have the potential for either or, but you have that potential A, and all you have to do is keep it. So, we're going to talk about that here. And just that thing about that. You already have an A. That's so positive. So, check out the video, hit like, subscribe, just give it a little tap. And then, tap again for the like button. And then, you know, help me out. It helps the channel. And at the end, you get to actually see my college career laid out and how everything kind of wraps up into a table and everything. So, other than that, all right, have a good one. I even talk about neural network layer in here where, I'm sorry, I'm not even looking at the lens. I even add in like a little part about neural networks and how it's using a weighted table. So if you think about it like that, it's actually going into data science. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one after you watch this. Bye. Okay, so you should have gotten a syllabus by now. If you're in a situation where you're not getting a syllabus, like you're in high school and the instructor hasn't given one to you, go up and ask. Just ask how many. A syllabus really lays out what you're going to be covering and what you should be confident in when you leave the class. But it also discusses how much each assignment is really worth. Now, this is just the assignments here, the discussion, the final, and then the total of everything. So we know the assignments are together worth 70%. Discussion is worth 10%, and the final is worth 20%, which means if you do great in the assignments and the discussion, you're still getting like a B here. Yeah, B minus, because that's 80 and 80.99. So, that's still a B if you do well in that. If you get an F in the final, that means you still get like 50-60%, which means that 50% of 20% is 10%, which puts you into a 90, which puts you into an A minus. And that's the value of positive thinking with this. But you should be able to get a syllabus really easy, but again, sometimes you don't. So just I went right here with Web Design 1. My master's degree courses are not always the most detailed, and it seems like this one is not either, because usually they would discuss how many assignments that you have, and this one does a very bad job of discussing that. So let's go over to Excel. Now we know we have 15 weeks, and as I remember, we had about like one. There we go. We had about 10 assignments. So let's bring this down to 10. Now let's do assignments, discussion, final exam. Now, we had about as many discussions as we did assignments. Some weeks we wouldn't have an assignment and we would have a discussion. And really, discussion, if you aren't familiar, because UWM is constantly discussion, is just, you talk about different things that you're doing and different things that you're reading, and you bring them up into the class, or you discuss how you feel about the assignment, the subject of the assignment. So we're just going to guesstimate that there are going to be 10 assignments and 10 discussions, because I remember there's about 10 or 11 assignments. We're going to go with 10 for now. And then the final exam, there's only one. For some reason, there's no midterm, and that was at 20%, which is 0.2 of 1. This is the short way of writing 20% is just 0.2. So that means that this would be 10%, and then this is 70%. Now, here's where things get a little bit interesting. I'm going to not do the subtitle for a second. First, we're going to hit that equal sign, and we're going to take our average. Sorry, I knew I forgot something. Average of this and that. All right. What on earth is happening? Why is it not? Okay. So there we go. And then we're going to take the average of this. And apparently you have to double click on average. You can't just highlight it and hit enter. That's what I'm finding out. And then, of course, you're just going to equals this. All right, there we go. Now we're going to do our subtotals, where we go here and we hit equals, and then we will do this multiplied by its weight. So this is actually, just so you understand, this is like a single layer neural network, because we're having a table, we're doing the scores, and then this is the weight that each of these is worth. So we're going to do the value times the weight of that value. We're going to do, wait, what's going on here? Ugh, why am I never, okay. Now we're going to do equals the value multiplied by the weight of that value there. Or what is going on with this? No. All right, where's G15? So no, I do apologize about that. All right, so here we go, and here we go. And then we will take the value, multiply the weight by the weight here, and now we have our totals. Or here's our total. And then we're going to hit, and this is just so you can really see how it's all laid out. Sometimes you will, I do apologize, I have children. And now you can see how every single step is set up. All right, and then we'll hit that. Just so everything looks kind of nice, and I actually, just so everything is lined up the way that you're seeing it, closer to here. And now, watch what ends up happening. Let's say that you get a 60, which is, whoops, we don't want that. All right. I do apologize. All right, it's a D minus. And you get a 72 here, which is like C. Let's say you get an 85 because you really understood that assignment. And then you get a 55 because you just did not understand classes. And up here, because it was just understanding padding. No. And then you get a 0 because you forgot to do the assignment. And here's a 65. And here's an 80. Here's a 95 because you really understood that one. And then here is a 75. Now, this is like bad scenario, okay? Right now, if you still do good on all of the discussions, which is very hard to mess up on, let's say you get a 90 because you just didn't really seem to understand it too much, but you understand it for the most part, you're still getting a 76, which we'll bring up here. 71 to 79 is a C. Now, this is if you test really well. If you don't test really well, let's bring this down to a 70. You're still getting a 70, which I believe is a C minus. 70 to 79, C minus. So you're still averaging out. Now, I'm not saying that you should achieve this. What I'm saying is look at these scores. Like the discussion thing, that's really hard to mess up on because you're simply just going, well, okay, fine, I'm reading something. But let's say that we do miss a couple of discussions. Let's say we've missed the 4th one and the 6th one. And you know what, the first one too, because you just, you didn't really understand the first week and everything, and that's why you got a 60 over here. You totally missed the discussion. You're still getting a 68, which is now a D plus. So you're still ending up with some really pretty good scores here. I mean, it's not the end of the world, is what I'm getting at. So let's say that you didn't miss this one, but you got a 23, or you got a chance to come at it again. So you got a 30 on it because of whatever. Well, then your grade comes up a little bit more. Let's say you didn't get a 30, but you got you failed again, and it's got another 60 or whatever. That's a 71. Now you're back into the C range. Let's say you did a little bit better on your exam because you test well and you got a 73. But I mean, like, look at this. This is like a D. This is a D. This is a D. These aren't likely to happen. So let's say you get a 69 on this. I mean, if you're getting a lot of D's all the time, you might think about changing your what you should be doing for college. But look at this. Now you're almost up to a B. You get one more of these discussions in here. Let's say you miss the first one. Now you're into a B minus. So it's really just positive thinking that you have to look at, because these are all, now here's where I'm talking about, all right? Because I don't feel like I'm really being positive here. Because these are worst case scenarios. Now the final exam obviously happens at the bottom, or at the end of the semester. So let's say that you do tank the first assignment, and you miss the first discussion. You're still at a 96. You're still at an A, almost an A plus. Let's say that you're still kind of slow on the next semester or the next class, the next week here, and you get a 79 and a 60 for the discussion because you just didn't understand it yet. You're still in an A. And this is actually how I've modeled every single one of my classes. I would sit there with the syllabus, I would lay out a data table, and I would actually just lay out worst case scenarios. And this helps you really understand like what classes, because I would actually do this with the entire area of what I was doing that semester. If I was taking like 4 classes, I'd be modeling 4 different tables here, and I'd be saying, okay, well, I'm doing really well here. I'm not doing really well here. Maybe I need to focus over here and leave this one alone for a little bit, and just do the bare minimum over here so I can pay more attention over here and understand where I'm going. So it really helps you kind of lay things out. Okay, so I'm going to bring you into my entire world here. Now, I don't think I kept up with my master's as much because just as things were going on, and I'm not going to lie, with the end of the pandemic, things were just getting harder and harder and harder. Um, as you can see here, I only seem to have up to summer of 2020 here, which is odd because I should have. Oh, here's fall 2020. So the only one that I'm missing is spring 2021. So my last semester, things were just kind of hectic, and I was, with the pandemic going on and kids and everything, life was just kind of rough. I don't remember. Oh, I did do stuff last summer. That's right. So things got a little bit hairy here, but let's go back. Wait, is this? I bet you that's one of my things here. So things kind of got a little bit weird. Now I found my old records. I actually started this at PPCC, and as you can see, I actually styled my tables by the school color. This is where I got my associate's degree in electronic engineering. Advanced programmable logic control, robotic technology, blah, 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 blah. I know, I'm awesome, whatever. Anyway, so before that, I was actually at WCTC for a short time before I decided to move to Colorado just to try it out, be a little adventurous in life. I was actually in Colorado for 2 years. Again, school colors as best as I could remember them. School colors for MATC. This is where I first started going to college. It is not my suggestion that you go to MAT. I'm not a big fan of MATC. I went there for a time and my grades I did not do very well originally, as you can see here. Then I went to WCTC. My grades didn't do very well after that. It wasn't until I got to PPCC and I started looking at this. I started laying out things that I started getting a higher GPA. So like here you've got a 3.625, 3.6, 3.375, and 4. I had a perfect semester my last semester. I also happen to have my military transferable skills, red, white, and blue, with the green for the military, green and black. All right, and then we have UW Milwaukee, and this is where I spent my bachelor's degree, so it's a little more extensive. All of this is in Google Docs or Google Sheets, and as you can see, I actually left this in here to add in later, I believe, and you can see here I have graduate. This just increased the size here, and you can see graduate level
and I never finished. I never filled those in. They're in different places for me to fit in. Um, and then you can go to my dashboard here, and all of this is tied into the rest of all of my other documents for UW Milwaukee. All the different schools tables are fit into here that eventually change out my true GPAs. So, like, my total GPA is a 3.04 for all of my school, even before I started learning this trick. And then my School of Information Science, which is SOIS, that's a 3.29. Community College GPA, UW Milwaukee GPA. Again, this is before my master's degree. I did have problems with Spanish. That's another class, by the way. That's another video I need to make. If you are trying to get an internship, trying to get that internship experience, do your language skills, your language classes, foreign language, because most colleges need a year or two of foreign language. Do them at the end of your career, and then, because if you're bad at other languages, it won't take your GPA, so that it's easier to get an internship. But as you can see, going back to UW Milwaukee, I would be taking all of my tables after I was done, and I would fill them in here. And then they would be usually tied to something like this before they were copied over, so I could see where all my stuff was going. And this is what happens when a data science or information technologist really gets wrapped up in school. And but it helps. It's amazing how much it helps. And if you think about it, it's a once a week activity where you just type in what score you got on your assignment from last week when it gets handed back. And it really helps you remember that it's not so bad. If you lose 0.7, here, like, all this is 0.7. It's not even 1%. It's 0.7% for one assignment. Oops, I missed it. I got a 0. Still almost at 95% for my total. I did horrible my first week. My second week, things were kind of rough, but I got better after that. Still an A. So don't freak out so much. Have a good one. See you in the next video.